Hello dear friends of Diversilíngua, today I'm gonna talk about my trip to Czech Republic. And before starting this episode, I'd like to let you know that Diversilíngua can be even bigger if you share this content with your friends. If you see that this content is relevant, please share with your friends, share in your groups, and don't forget to leave us a comment if you find this content interesting, or if you want to leave us a suggestion. And don't forget to rate us in your podcast app. If you are listening to this episode in your favorite podcast app, don't forget to rate us. This is so important because Diversilíngua can turn into something even bigger, and we can spread the words of language learning for more people if you do that, okay? So now let's go to the topic of this video, that it is my trip to Czech Republic and some curiosities about Czech Republic. Let's go. So people, in the beginning of the month July 2023, I decided to go to pay a visit to a friend of mine, to visit a friend of mine in Czech Republic. And I had the opportunity to go there, and I spent only 3 days in Czech Republic, but I could find some interesting things about this amazing country. So I will say some things here in this video. I will try to give you my impressions about Czech Republic. And if you want more content like this, if you want that if you want to speak more, that I can speak more about Czech Republic, please leave us a comment, and mainly saying that, I want to hear more about Czech Republic, I want to get to know more about this or that, and I will try to record a new episode for this content. If you are listening to this episode in your favorite podcast app, this is also available in video on YouTube, okay? So to start, I will say the population of Czech Republic. So in Czech Republic there are around 10 million people living there, and it's a little bit less than Portugal, that it has around 11 million people, but I think that maybe the country is a little bigger than Portugal. I don't know exactly. They were part of the Czechoslovakia, the ancient Czechoslovakia, a country that existed until the end of Soviet Union, and then the country was split in 2 countries. So Czech Republic in the western part, and Slovakia in the eastern part. Czech Republic is located in the Middle Eastern part of Europe, and the main language spoken in Czech Republic is Czech, and it is totally different from the language that I've ever tried to learn. Once I tried to learn Russian, and one thing that I realized about Czech is that the numbers, I think that they are almost the same. The same way they pronounce the numbers are almost the same the way Russians pronounce the numbers. But the other things I found it totally different. Maybe there are some similarities that I didn't find out because I couldn't learn. It was only 3 days. I couldn't learn Czech properly. And by the way, the Slovak people can understand Czech people and the other way around. But it seems to me, as far as I know, I talked with some of my friends, and I have a friend, a teacher, a dancing teacher from Slovakia, and she told me that usually Slovak people can understand better Czech people than the other way around. So it's almost similar to the case of Portuguese and Spanish. It's interesting to notice that the Czech language came from the same branch of Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, Slovak, and Bulgarian, I think. And this branch is the Slavic languages. Maybe for them they can, with a little study, they can understand each other because of that. I don't know exactly. If you know that, please leave us a comment, okay? And then let's go to the curiosities about this. After this introduction, I will go to the things that I realized when I was there. So first of all, I found that the land of Skoda, a car branding called Skoda, is Czech Republic. So they are proud of that car branding, and I found a lot of cars over there. In Europe, Skoda is popular. I don't know about Brazil. Maybe it's hard to find a car from Skoda. So Skoda it's like BMW, Ferrari, Volkswagen. So it's a car branding and based on Czech Republic. Another thing that I found interesting about Czech Republic is that there are a lot of Vietnamese people living there. And by the way, at the beginning, I thought that they were from China, but actually, when I talked to my friend who lives there, he told me that they are Vietnamese. They came from Vietnam, and he didn't know why. So I go to Google and I search it on the internet, and I found that many of them came to Czech Republic to work or study by the time they were communist, Czech Republic and Vietnam. And by the end of the communism period, the Czech Republic decided to be more independent and capitalist, and then many of Vietnamese people decided to not coming back to Vietnam, and maybe that's the main reason why they decided to remain in Czech Republic. And back that time, I found on the internet that many of the Vietnamese people worked in the primary sector, but nowadays, because of a lot of them came to Czech Republic to study, they are some of them that are in higher positions in some companies, as an engineer, for example, and they have families there. Okay, and I think that they are around 8,000 people living there, and I could see a lot of them in the airport and in some places. So it's interesting to notice that they have such a relationship, those two countries, Czech Republic and Vietnam. And by the way, the third most famous family name in Czech Republic is from Vietnam. It's from a Vietnamese family, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I could leave this information in the description of this episode. Another interesting thing that I found out about Czech Republic is that they have an expression in Czech that is almost like Jesus Maria, and it is an interjection of surprise, and this expression is closer to an expression that we have in Ceará in Brazil, my home state in Brazil. And the expression there is Vixe Maria, so it's closer, and it is also an interjection of surprise. So for me it was, when I heard that at the first sight, I thought that I was hearing someone from my home state in Brazil, but not. I was in Czech Republic listening to people speaking in Czech. And by the way, Czech is kind of hard. They have a case, and I tried to learn some expressions. I remember the name of a station, maybe it's Rastafa, and maybe I'm making some mistakes. And I remember hello, drobiden, and excuse me, prominte. And also there is you're welcome. I don't remember right now. Yeah, they taught me, but I totally forgot. But that's it. It's kind of hard. I tried to learn some words in order to start the conversation in Czech, but it was hard. I was there only for 3 days. It could be almost impossible to learn a totally different language like this in only 3 days. Another important aspect about Czech Republic is that they are not part of Eurozone. So if you are going to Czech Republic, you must have koruna. Koruna is the currency of Czech Republic, and you can have it without many exchange. I mean, exchanging in some exchange shops if you have wise. So I will put a link in the description of this episode in which you can download Wise. Wise is an app in which you can exchange money from one currency to another. And if you download the app and you make your first transfer there, you will not pay any fee. Just because you are downloading, you will download the app throughout my link, the link that I will put in the description of this episode. So if you do that, you will have a free transfer, the first transfer for free of tax, and you can easily transfer money from one currency to another. So exchange money, exchange currency. And I could do that with Wise, and it was helpful because I also have a card of Wise, and I could transfer from euro to koruna, and it was easier for me to pay for restaurants and things there with Wise. So please check that out. And now I'm gonna talk about the Czech cuisine. So I tried the Czech cuisine, mainly the goulash beef, the beef goulash that usually they say. It is a thick stew made of beef, and it has toppings, sliced onions and some peppers, and also there are some things made of potatoes in the dish, as you can see in the video that I'm when I tried that special dish. And I tried it with a beer, a dark beer, a Czech dark beer, and it was amazing. I totally do recommend you guys to try that out. And for me it wasn't a problem to eat that in Czech Republic. I also tried another dish that I will put in the comments and in the description, or maybe here in the video, and it was delicious. It was delicious. The dishes in Czech Republic, for me, those that are based of beef were amazing. And I also visit some other places there, as the famous Carlos Bridge and or Charles Bridge, as far as I know, in Prague. I visit Brno, so I visit two cities, Prague and Brno, and I can talk more about Czech Republic. I can talk about the places that I visit, but I think that for this video that is enough. And I'd like to know if you found this content something that can add something in your life, and if you found that interesting, maybe you should consider leaving us a comment and like this video. It would be great, and you can turn Diversilíngua even bigger with that. Okay, and that's it. If you want to leave us a suggestion, please leave us a comment on Instagram. We are mainly there, or maybe send us an email to diversilingua@gmail.com. Okay, so see you in the next Diversilíngua episode, and I hope I can record more episodes in English in order to prove to you that you can become fluent in English. And by the way, don't forget to join our English group. We have usually meetings every Wednesdays from 6:30 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. Brasilia time. It would be 10:30 p.m. until 11:30 p.m. London time. And to find more about this, you can go to our Telegram group. Okay, and to find out more about Diversilíngua, go to diversilingua.com. See you in the next episode. Bye.